Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be taking one last reptile room tour on the room that is actually right next to me before we make a massive renovation to it. I've been on a couple facility tours recently. If you guys haven't seen, I'll put a little playlist link right here. And I have noticed a bit of a difference between me and the other facility room tours. And that's the fact being is theirs are very organized and nice and everything's in one place. And my stuff is pretty much all over the place. There's just stuff everywhere, and it's getting a little bit annoying at this point. Make things a little more streamlined with my room, making sure everything kind of has a place and everything like that. It's not just like a bunch of reptile enclosures in a bunch of different areas. So we're gonna be making things a little bit better, a little bit more organized, things of that nature. And yeah, we're gonna take one last look of this reptile room tour, and then we will be moving everything, and I'll give you guys an update after the fact. So let's get out of this chair, let's talk about some animals, and let's talk about the problems with the room and how I'm gonna change it. Okie dokie, folks, coming in here we have the reptile room with a plethora on plethora of reptiles that really have no rhyme or reason about them. We just got a bunch of reptiles in a room for the most part. Oh boy, look at this cute animal. Or this cute animal. Or this cute animal. Yeah, for the most part, we got a lot of stuff going on in here. Right over here, we had what used to be a cave gecko baby that we just sold. We've got my eggs that are still incubating at this moment. Two crested geckos that are my grow outs that are going to be ready to breed next year. These are actually DVCB exotics babies. These are crested geckos that I hatched out in 2019, I believe. And so 2022, they will be fully and ready to breed. This girl actually did breed for me this year. But this girl, I'm really excited for. This was my favorite holdback, and I'm wicked stoked that she turned out to be female and is going to be ready to breed in 2022. So up and down a little bit lower, we've got some cave geckos. This is my pair of Chinese cave geckos that I've had for about a year now. We got a couple of babies from them. This being my first year breeding with them, I think it was pretty good. I believe we ended up with 6 eggs, or 2 clutches of eggs, so 4 eggs. We had 4 babies. One unfortunately didn't hatch, and we ended up selling a baby, and we got a couple of babies that we are holding on to these little holding bins right here. But yeah, Chinese cave geckos. I really enjoyed the Chinese cave geckos, man. I definitely am going to be expanding on this project because cave geckos are just cool. They're like the coolest looking gecko. Coolest looking terrestrial gecko that you can own, I'll say that. Moving slightly over to the right, we have a plethora of geckos. This is going to be all of my New Caledonian stuff, minus a couple of bins up here that are actually for cave geckos, but we've got a variety of crested and gargoyle geckos ranging from holdbacks that I'm keeping this year to a couple that are growing out to sell here in a couple of weeks. Down here, we've got my pair of gargoyle gals that will be breeding. This girl and this girl will be breeding next year in 2022, which I'm wicked excited for. Down here, we've got some crested geckos. Xena over here, Cookie on this left. Down here, we got Pebbles and then a grow out gargoyle. We got some male breeders over here, one being a gargoyle, one being a crested gecko. A lot of geckos, to say the least. Coming over here, we've got all of my ball pythons in this 10-tier rack system with a couple of females that are going to be ready to go next year. We've got this beautiful bamboo, a little bumblebelly gal, which is just looking awesome. And we have this caramel albino that I don't know if she's gonna lay me eggs at this point. I don't know if she just absorbed the follicles. She should have laid them, I want to say like 2 weeks ago, and it doesn't look like she's gotten any bigger. She kind of looks like her regular size again. So maybe we're not gonna get eggs. Maybe we are. Maybe we'll shoot again for next year. Not 100% on that. Just going down, we don't have really anything that special. We got a couple of normal breeders and then my males I got going on. The big issue, and one of the really big issues that I have with this reptile room, the current setup, and we'll get into a lot of that a little bit later in the video, is the fact that I can't open these all the way because they do that. They hit the tubs where the geckos are, and that is really annoying and does really, it's a little bit annoying. It's like, yeah, I can just push this and pull it back and then open the tubs, but now I've got these big blocks in the middle of the reptile room and I don't really want them there, you know? A little bit lower, we've got an incubator, some more ball pythons that were growing out. We've got a pair of red ackies, a big boa constrictor, my big boa constrictor gal, and then coming slightly over here, we've got feeders, tokay geckos, tokay geckos, tokay geckos, a quince monitor, and so on. A lot of animals in this one room coming from a lot of different areas needing a lot of different needs. Also, I'm gonna be outing myself. I'm an egg crate. I'm an egg crate hoarder. I have a lot of egg crates. I thought I'd use them for my roach colonies, but I didn't need them that much, and I get crickets so often, and I just keep them, and they're stacking up. I got a lot of egg crates, guys! If you move over here, this is just useless junk that I'm not using that just keeps stacking up and I just fill that shelf with. And the thing really is, when we first moved in here and started this reptile room, we only had one room to work with. That room over there used to actually be the bird room. One room to work with reptiles and really one room only. Since then, we have expanded DBCB exotics by a plethora amount, a lot. We've gone from roughly moving in here with about 20, 30 animals to now with the babies, the grow outs, the breeders, a couple of pets here and there. We pretty much quadrupled that number. We've got to be somewhere in the hundreds. I'm not entirely sure. Do you count like every rat? I have a lot of animals here, and since then, a lot more space. We have that building that we have. We have this other room now that used kind of like as a reptile set. We got the birds in the living room, and so on. So here's the real thing. We've expanded a lot. However, this room's kind of just stayed the same. We've just kind of been putting reptiles in here. We've got a little bit of everything going on over here, and we've kind of just left them in here without really evolving this specific room, which is the original reptile room. And that's really the point I want to make. After seeing a couple more facilities and seeing how organized and representative, does that make sense? That this room that their rooms are, I want mine to reflect it. I want rooms to have a specific meaning when you walk into them. When you walk into this room, and I just have a blanket, I don't have a door. Sue me, I needed more space for reptiles and the doors swing inward. What are you gonna do? I have a blanket to keep the heat in because it's cold. We got a lot of reptiles. You come in here, you see geckos, ball pythons, now we got monitor lizards, a boa, we got pets, we've got random breeders, babies going all over the place. What? This room has no feng shui. There's no zen in here, and that doesn't make me very peaceful. I'm not at zen in this room, and we need to change that. Brings me to my final point, and that point is the fact, is this even focused? I don't know, this lens sucks. That brings me to the fact is, I want this to have a clear coat. I want this to be the breeding room at this point. I want to have my geckos in here, my ball pythons, and my tokay, oh my god, and my tokay geckos in here, and that leads all the other stuff, which leads us to, well, the other room. Now this room still has a lot of space. You can hear the echo in here because there's just so much room. We just have this one shelf, and then blank, it's gonna get really dark because there was a bright window. We got a Chinese water dragon, blank, literally just one, I don't know why, I just put the baby rack system right there. And then of course we've got the set piece. We got the chameleon, the beardies, my little flag here, stuff like that. It's a pretty empty room, so being. Now while I do want to keep this room a little bit more open so it's a little bit better to film videos, I have been vlogging a little bit more, so that kind of cancels that out. I do want to make this room into a little bit more, putting a little bit more animals in here. I'm thinking about making this the pet exclusive area where we'll just have our pets. Now I believe we'll have the monitor lizards in here as well, which technically they are breeders, but more of a passion breeder, so I'll kind of lump them in here. But pretty much in this room, we're just gonna have all the nice cages. We'll have the nice PVC going over here. I'm thinking about putting the boa constrictor cage right here, and then we'll put some exoteras, things like that. We'll have a nice little corner piece. I'll probably film like in this area. We'll get a wide angle lens and we'll have all these nice enclosures next to me. Things like that, to when we go back into the other room, it's simply just my breeders, which will then give me a lot more room to work around with my breeders. I'll be able to expand onto more shelf units like this right here. We'll be able to stop getting these guys on the ground. We can expand into a double shelf unit for my breeders. We can get a separate shelf for the babies going on, because we got kind of like stuff everywhere. We've got some grow outs over here. I have to take these down when I missed and open up the cave gecko. Luckily we got this little thing, which is pretty cool. But when I go to like open eggs and like search for eggs and stuff, it's just a pain. I don't want to work like this. I want my breeders into one segregated place, which is going to be this room. Again, we'll be able to move the ball pythons. We'll no longer have this issue right here where we just have to bonk it, things like that. I don't want to work like that. And so that's the big thing. We got a problem with space. I wouldn't say neglect this room, but just neglect the space that I have available to me and kind of just like shoved everything in here. And now it's crowded and I want to make it less crowded, and that's what we're gonna do. And there you have it, folks. A big problem with the reptile room and how we are going to change it. I know I really skimmed over the animals. This video wasn't really about the animals themselves, but about the room itself. We are going to be making like pretty frequently, I believe probably I want to say Thursday's video will have the new reptile room laid out. I want to do this really fast and have it done so I can make my life just a little bit easier. So probably, I mean, I'm filming this on a Thursday, so we'll have this done probably by the weekend. We'll have all the little pet enclosures moved in here, and then we'll be able to reorganize the other space and have a lot more space in that room as well. Yeah, guys, that is the gist of the video. I know it was a little bit shorter, and you guys probably expected a lot more reptiles and a lot less of me bitching about the space that I have and the more space that I have in other spaces, but that's the video I decided to make, and that's the video I forced you guys to watch. Make sure to press that like button. As always, folks, of course, we talked just a little bit about the babies that we're going to be having for sale pretty soon. If you guys want to check that out, make sure to go to Facebook, Instagram. I'm also on TikTok. Facebook and Instagram is where you can check out those babies. Not to mention, of course, we always have Patreon. Patreon.com/DBCBExotics. This is where you get the in-case, impersonal, very personal, up-to-face business side of DBCB Exotics. You get the big behind-the-scenes of stuff what's going on. You guys will be able to see first what I move in here, how the room's going to look before I make a video on it. You guys get to see when the babies come for sale for anyone else. You don't have to hire to, so you can even get discounts on the babies I produce and sell to you guys. Great sales pitch, Dakota. You're fucking amazing at this, I swear to God. And as always, folks, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to follow me over here at DBCB Exotics. We'll see you next time, but until then, goodbye.